I might poop my pants.
I'm so nervous. Posture gives no information. So see you in the end. Thanks, dude. Hello and welcome to episode. I have no idea because I don't know what episode this is. As always, this episode is brought to you by NJFishing.com, the #1 leader in freshwater and saltwater fishing in the state of New Jersey for the past 27 years. Head on over to NJFishing.com. 100% free, run by Jerry Zagorski. He will set you up an account through an email. Very easy, very fast. Gives you access to all the forums. So yeah, head over to njfishing.com. Hello and welcome to episode 54 of the NJ Multi-Species Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Santiago, and as always, my co-host, Chris Pereira.
Cheers, bitch.
I am extra amped up because we are only hours away from stepping aboard the fishmonger and going black fishing for the last day of the season.
And by the time this recording goes up for viewing, we'll either have succeeded or be dead out at sea trying.
Can we come in alive unsuccessful also? Is that an option or not? It's either victory or death.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to speed through the process here because we want to get our shit ready to go fishing, and I don't even want to watch this, so let's move it along. Tonight's guest is the, what do we call him? The Sultan? I forgot what all the things we made up.
You gave him like 5 different nicknames. You forgot every single one of them?
No, I know I call him the Pimp of the Pine Needles, the Player of Pork Roll, the Sultan of, I had something else too.
The South? Sultan of the South?
It might be the Sultan of the South, the King of the Cranberries. I mean, Powerbait Paul. He's coming on tonight. Probably to attack me, I'd imagine. But real quick, in fishing news, Skillful Angler, was there anything in Skillful Angler? Updated, it put me and Katie Lynn at a tie for hybrid striped bass. Hers is bigger than mine, though, because my mouth's a little open. But they gave us both the same. But hers is longer than mine. Whatever.
Yeah, I see that. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah,
right. Hers is bigger than mine.
You said, I think 2 or 3 episodes ago, you said that someone caught a bluegill bigger than 9 inches, but this still has a 3-way tie.
Because it was Max said that he put a 9.5-inch fish in, but it never surfaced on there. So either Max is lying or, I don't know. Ask Max. Max, why isn't the board changed on the sunfish?
I expect an answer in the comments of wherever you're watching this, Max, because right now you look like a lying piece of shit. We got Jen Wong caught a nice brook trout. Obviously, stocked by a private entity, but it all counts. Those fish swim into public areas. I'm not really sure where he caught it. I think he belongs to, what's the name of the Newark?
I think club? It's the Newark Flycasters Club, I believe. I got it. Jen's in so many things, I would never be able to track all of it. Yeah, I got to call them all. It's like Newark Flycasters.
And we got to get some information from him for that, because in a couple episodes later this month, we have some guests coming on and talk about like getting kids into fishing. I know his club does a lot for like getting the kids over there in and around Newark into fishing and stuff, which is really cool.
Yeah, it is a highly involved kids trout club. We actually went fishing Chris had a blackfish trip that got blown out over the weekend, so we took 2 boats out. We went muskie fishing with Jen Wong, went on Chris's boat. Jerry Zagorski came on my boat. A lot of real interesting things happened. Jen had a fish snap his line off with the bobber still attached to the line, right? And then periodically throughout the day, we saw this bobber surface and then dive again. We never actually got to see what kind of fish it was. We got the bobber back though.
We got so basically we kept trying this. I kept trying to sneak up to it, and he was like hanging off the front of the boat. We got pretty close a couple of times, but it kept taking off. I don't know. My best guess is it was a largemouth maybe. I don't think it was a trout because
how did it even break above the bobber?
Must have been line must have been frayed, and then it's one of those clip-on bobbers. So if you have a weak point in your line, it kind of like pinches it and breaks it there. That's like the big drawback for those bobbers. But I said, Jen, try to cast at it and hook it with one of your lures, and he did, but then the line slid right through. So we'll never know what that fish was, but it took his ultralight for a spin before it broke off. So
and Jerry was throwing night crawlers on a bobber just to try to catch some bait because we were using bluegills while we threw lures. While he was just throwing the little piece of night crawler, he hooked into that monstrosity of an alien catfish that had like antlers growing off its face. Maybe Chris could pop a picture of its face up here.
It had the it had one side had like the forked whisker, like a double forked whisker. It was like a mutant.
Yeah. Jen caught a trout. Jerry caught a trout. All while trying to fish for bait, and then we were able to we missed one muskie on my boat, and we were able to actually connect with one muskie that we got to the rail, and it was lost at the net, which was a heartbreaker. And then Jerry ended the day with a nice bass, a largemouth bass, 18 inches. That was it for us. So he caught a nice mixed bag, one heartbreaker, but a decent day. Shitty weather.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it was like, I thought it was supposed to be a decent day, but it was trash. The next day was much nicer. You had your kid's birthday. Oh, no, it wasn't a birthday party. Kids' communion party. So you were locked up in that.
Yes.
Katie and I went out and took a little. We wanted to go crappie fishing, and for some reason, it was like the pike had taken over all the crappie spots. It was just infested with pike, and I think the biggest one I had was like 31 and a half inches, decent pike. I mean, fun as hell on ultralight. I'll still never understand how they don't cut the line. But we finally, after checking a couple of spots, we did find the crappie and put a whooping on them, kind of like the Rangers put a whooping on the Washington Capitals. Swept the series.
In other news, fishing report wise, so we did all right with muskie action. Chris did real good crappie fishing. Mike Iaconelli's guide service, he put a wrap on his crappie season, called it quits on his last trip. He had a post up, had a net full of crappies. I guess Mike's moving to the big lakes to troll fry for lake trout. He went fishing the other day and crushed lake trout. Actually, the day before, Mike Iaconelli caught that monstrosity in the Round Valley tournament. That video's up on our Instagram. You could see it's on the YouTube too. What else? This coming weekend, Knee Deep Club is having their walleye contest. You could sign up at Dow's. I think you could also sign up at the Lakes End Marina. I am entered into that. I think Max is fishing with me. Cron probably. I think Luke is coming. Chris, I think you're fit. There'll be a bunch of us out there. I'm sure Mackin will be around. I know Gato. So this weekend there should be a lot of interesting characters creeping around a pack on. That should be cool.
Yeah, and I mean, I know we mentioned last last time Knee Deep Club had a contest, we didn't even really know about it. So we looked, and
Yeah.
this
I'm like,
time,
oh shit, there's a walleye one in 6 days. Like, okay,
well,
so we
yeah,
caught.
by the time anyone hears this, it'll be one day.
It's
Oh no,
tomorrow.
it'll be
Yeah.
the day of. Why are you even
Uh,
talking about it? We don't
well,
put
if
this
you're
out till Friday afternoon.
well, if you're watching this right now, you still have until midnight tonight to enter.
Oh, really? You could sign up Friday midnight?
Well, the contest is it's Saturday and Sunday. You know, you can't fish really Friday, so it's
You
really
can't fish Friday night?
well, Friday night at midnight is technically Saturday, so yeah.
Oh, so you can start fishing Friday at Saturday at 12:01 a.m.
Exactly, yeah. That's what I'd be doing is fishing at night, Saturday, Friday night. So we'll be out there, and we'll be creeping around that lake if you want to get out there and whatever. I think Mikey K's coming. We'll have a pretty good bunch of people up there, so that should be funny. What else, Chris, do we have going on before we bring on the Prince of Pork Roll?
I don't think we have anything else. I'm trying to get them in right now.
I want to introduce. We do have new exciting news. We are bringing on another partner, Yellow Dog Paddle, led by guide Mike Herman. We are taking them on as a sponsor now with NJFishing.com and Mackin's Rip and Lips. Mike Herman's been, he's an interesting character. The more and more I'm learning about him. Been guiding for about 10 years, and he does a large volume of trips. He fishes Spruce Run, Round Valley. He does the Delaware River for smallmouth, and he guides on Merrill Creek. He doesn't advertise that much because I don't think he's ever really had to, because he's just that busy already. But now he's kind of like teamed up with us because he wants to get his name out there. Yellow Dog Paddle. So we're going to be doing a lot of work now with them. So give Yellow Dog Paddle a follow, Mike Herman, and we're excited and looking forward to working with them.
Yeah, a lot of guys from the RVTA and even Kyle Thomas actually called me on the phone to vouch for Mike, and I thought that was pretty cool. I don't think nobody would call someone and vouch for me. I know that much.
Well, I had I was talking to Mike today. I had to bring it up because he had three skillful angler salmon today. He did a guided trip. 3 skillful angler salmon today. One of which was a 26.875 long Atlantic, 7 pounds 5 ounces. That fish isn't that far off from a state record. It's enough to be like, have you looking at it. It's within 1.5 pounds. And also, when he brought the fish onto the boat, he said it dumped eggs all over the boat. So that raises my point again as to why the weight of the fish is just stupid to even go by to begin with, because, you're just, when I catch a state record fish, I guess I'll stick a butt plug in it to hold the eggs. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, 3 skillful angler salmon to the boat today on MCR. So yeah, we're going to be doing work now with Yellow Dog Paddle, Mike Herman. And if you're interested in fishing any of those lakes like MCR, he's one of the more rare guides in Jersey that actually guide on MCR. Me and Chris have seen some guides do MCR, not usually though. Mike does fish it often.
Yeah, and it's a really tough lake to fish. So I don't know. Not that other lakes are necessarily easier, but for example,
he's good at he's really good on Merrill Creek. He would be he comes highly recommended to fish MCR. MCR is a place that a lot of people go with their own boats and never do well and usually don't go back. We like that. We don't want you to go back. That's great. But yeah, if you do want to see learn and kind of. This guy really seems to put a good stack of fish in the boat usually.
Yeah, very consistent.
Very, very consistent is just basically. I haven't fished with him yet. Hopefully, me and Chris will get to fish with him in person. We've spoken to him. He seems great, but we have not fished him in person. But like Chris said, his reputation's come back pretty good from everyone. So we're excited to be working with them, and we'll be posting and doing things with them along with Eddie Mackin and NJF. So that'll be cool. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna get ready to bring our guest on here. I already introduced all his nicknames before. The Pimp Daddy of the Pine Needles. The what else is it, Chris? I forgot them all.
Are you sure it's not Pimp Daddy of Pine Barrens?
He's the Pimp Daddy of the Pork Roll, the player of the Pine Barrens, the killer of the Cranberries.
He did it much better last episode.
As the temperatures continue to rise, the fishing on Lake Iaconelli continues to get hotter. That is my lake that I fished most. Eddie Mackin's Rippin' Lips fishing trips. He is firing up right now. He's on stripers. He's on walleye. He's starting to get catfish. He's on basically everything. Eddie's really well known for the hybrid striped bass. So if you are looking to go after a hybrid striped bass, he is the guy to call. He does not have that many dates left for hybrid striped bass. I believe he charges $350 for a trip, and he'll let you squeeze a third man on there. So 3 people, $350 for a hybrid striped bass trip. Eddie Mackin, the legend of Lake Iaconelli himself. When you book a trip with him, he will do the trip. It will be him and only him, guaranteed. So, you would get to fish Lake Iaconelli with Eddie Mackin, which is awesome. Give him a call if you're looking for an awesome trip this spring. Powerbait Paul. Welcome to the NJ Multi-Species Podcast.
What's up,
What's going on, guys? What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Paul? Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for coming on here. I know a celebrity like you, it's very hard to find time to do something like this.
Yeah, I'm no celebrity, man. I'm just a normal South Jersey guy that fishes every day and posts any decent fish I catch,
Agree to disagree.
Do you literally fish every day? Because it seems like you do.
Yeah, more often than not, unless I have like a family function or something that gets in my daily plans of fishing. Yeah, I still do, even after work, or I used to go before work when I was on second shift. Now I go after work.
I thought maybe because Mark Madosky, he did this 365, like he fished every day, like literally every day. He wrote an article about it. And I was wondering if no matter what, you found a way to just take a cast or two every single day, no matter what, just so you could say you fish every single day.
Yeah, I wish I could say that, but no, but pretty close. Close,
All
but
right.
not quite.
Paul, without giving up too much info, I don't know how much you want to give away, but what actual part of the state are you from?
I am South Jersey. I'm true South Jersey.
You're all the way down there. How far?
All the way at the bottom.
How far?
Basically,
are you far?
No, not that far. I'm in the Salem County, Cumberland County area. Those are my base of operations.
Is that near Marlton?
I'm not familiar with Marlton. But
Adam Mihar lives. My point
is,
why are Adam's fish
south.
So small and yours are all huge?
Because I guess I just have a better area,
Are you better than him? He owns private. He buys lakes all over South Jersey and owns them.
Yeah, and he also cheats by buying land in the Carolinas where the fish get bigger. And yet, I still catch bigger fish than him in South Jersey.
Wow. Let me ask
you what to say.
Let me ask you this: if I could get a Mahara custom lure in your hands, would you use it?
Oh yeah, actually, as a matter of fact, not to knock Adam. Adam's the man. You know what I mean? A few years ago, there's a cool story. This is a cool story involving Adam. a few years ago, Adam had actually. I'm a big Marvel fan. You know, I love Captain America. Adam had hand carved and painted a Captain America wake bait for me, and he had a local derb at one of my favorite ponds, and so he told me to meet him there so he could give me the bait. So I'm like, all right, I pull up. He gets off his boat. We talk, and he hands me my bait, and then he gets back on his boat and goes back to the tournament. And you know, I know there's a tournament going on in the lake, but I'm still going to make a few casts from the bank. You know what I mean? This was 2021 Thanksgiving weekend, so I'm making a few casts with a jig along the bank, and I hook into something, and it doesn't. I didn't even know it was a fish. I thought it was grass, so I didn't really swing on it too hard. And then the biggest bass I've ever seen, big mouth coming right at me. I'm like, oh my god, that's a 6-pounder. Hook pops out, dude. That my heart just sunk. But I kept composure. I refocused. I kept fishing the same spot. 10 minutes later, the same fish bites my bait, and I hammer him, pull back on him, land him. 6 pounds, 7 ounce, 42-degree water from the bank while there was a tournament going on. And that was actually the first day I finally met Adam.
Is that the fish where you're like posing next to the road with your arm up, and you? I think you posted it's your PB. You
that
caught
just
it like
happened recently.
No.
That's different.
That was that's my 7-11, the one I caught last month. That's my new PB. I'm talking. This was a 6.5-pounder I caught a few years ago.
Oh, so you've known Adam for years.
Since 2020, 2021, yeah, we first corresponded on through Instagram. Because 2020 is when I've been fishing since 2007, but I really started posting a lot more of what I would catch in 2020, and that's when my big fish started getting a bit more attention and whatnot.
And you know what? And I've seen guys, not just you, I've seen guys give shit to a lot of people about why you post every single fish you catch. And you know what? In my opinion, the whole fishing world, the whole sport of fishing, it needs more of this. It need post all your fish, post who cares how many? The more posts, the better. Like what people don't realize is that these guys who keep everything to themselves and never post anything and claim they catch, oh yeah, I caught bigger fish than that. And they don't post anything. They don't contribute to anything online. And what's wrong with that is not actively, but they're passively killing the sport of fishing, because the world is going in the way of the internet. Like it's been going the way of the internet. There's social media is it's everything. It's all over the place. If you're not contributing to this, then the generations coming up are going to find it harder and harder to find the connection with fishing. My bottom line is I think it can only help. So you'll never see us, bashing anyone for posts unless we're just busting balls.
Or it's a bass.
Oh, here we go.
It might be a bass.
Here we go. Okay. All right. What is you guys' PB largemouth? I gotta know.
We don't weigh fish, so we have no idea.
I do know
mine's probably 23 inches.
In New Jersey, you mean, or anywhere?
Well, Chris, in New Jersey and anywhere. Florida don't count. Yeah, Florida don't count. Get out of here. Okay, so for New Jersey,
that's where he's trying to slip Florida bass in. He's trying to slip one in there.
Shoot, man! It's like I caught a 7-pounder, an almost 7-pound 11 ounce in New Jersey, so that would be like a 12-pounder in Florida. Let's put it that way.
I feel like I'm
totally with you. I'm totally with you. Look,
I don't mean to be offensive, but I feel like everyone, mostly everyone except for this guy and Frank Rosinski that lives down there, just doesn't catch shit. And Thomas Wyatt, they might be the only 3 people that I see posting.
What about the Kennedys?
Oh, the Kennedys. I don't
yeah.
exactly know where or how far south. Like after Route 78, I don't count it as New Jersey anymore. You guys all live in Virginia to me. Do you call it pork roll or Taylor ham?
Oh, it's pork roll. It's pork
definitely pork roll. You an Eagles fan?
I could care less about football, but my dad and my family are Eagles fans, so
when you fish with Mike Iaconelli, do you guys argue about who's more popular on social media?
Nah, Ike's the man. Ike, I was at a party for Ike for his for when he won the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame. You know, his wife Becky invited me to their party, and Mike introduced me to one of his buddies. Like, yeah, this guy's more famous than me. I'm like, yeah, right. You're the only reason that you're the reason I'm just a little bit famous in South Jersey. You know, getting to join Ike Live. Getting to join Ike Live for a year, that was incredible. That was cool getting to hang with him and Brian and the boys. You know.
How did that happen? Like how did that happen? How does that come to fruition?
Were they just driving by you and by your guardrail where you were fishing and like see you rip a bass out of the water and start going nuts and just like had to have you?
No, it was actually the opposite. It was actually this was again 2021. This is April 1st, so opening day of trout season. So it was just catch and release only at the time. You couldn't keep them. But I never caught rainbow trout before, so I just wanted to go over there and, you know, catch my first rainbow just to add a new species to my resume. So I go over there, you know, I'm just smashing trout after trout on the Vibrax along the bank at a certain pond in South Jersey. And I see a boat on the water and it says Ike Live on the side. And it's in the distance. I'm like, no way. I'm like, you know what? I gotta hear the guy's voice to be sure. I'm like, yo, you guys catch anything out there? And as soon as Ike starts saying something, I'm like, holy crap, Mike Iaconelli, dude, can I get a picture with you? And he's like, come on. He's all like, come on,
man. You're calling this a pond, but then he's got a bass boat on. I feel like you guys call everything a pond.
It's a big pond. It's a big pond. Let's just put it this way. It's a lot smaller than Union Lake. But he's working his way towards the dock, just throwing a big trout swim bait, and dude hooks a 7-pound, 4-ounce giant right as he's working his way towards the pond, towards the dock, and he's just going ballistic. And I walk around and I hop up on the dock. He brings the boat over, and then he stands up on the dock and get a picture with me while he's holding a 7-pounder. And that was the day I officially met Ike. And and then later on he reached out to me through Instagram and asked me to be a South Jersey correspondent on the Ike Live podcast to talk about the local fishing in his local area because he knows how much I go every day.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That is pretty cool.
And you guys down there, I mean, you have a lot of bodies of water that don't even have names, correct? I mean, they're unnamed.
Some, yeah, some. We have a lot of mill ponds, a lot of ponds. Not a lot of private ponds, but we have a lot of ponds.
And now, like as Joe was saying before, I know it's just kind of trying to be funny, but it's also kind of serious. Like South Jersey is like a different world to us, and I'm sure you've come up here. I don't know if you thought the same thing. Like you come up past a certain point, and you're like, "Where the hell am I?"
Yeah, you know what pisses me off the most, and I'm going to be honest. The Fish and Wildlife, the New Jersey Fish and Wildlife Department, they don't give two craps about us in South Jersey. You guys have the deep water. You guys have the deep reservoirs. You guys have friggin' muskie, walleye, pike, lake trout, plenty of smallmouth bass water. And for smallies, we have Union Lake, some in the Maurice River, and that's it. For muskie, we have DOD, some in the Cooper River, and that's it. You guys have all the species that I wish I lived 30 minutes from, but I don't, you know?
Do you guys have a trout river to fish? A trout stocked river nearby?
Yes, yeah, we do. We have the Maurice River. Yeah, only rainbows, though. If you want to?
Let's see how many South Jersey spots we could get him.
Well, he's a bass fisherman, so he's basically going to burn down every trout spot.
I don't give a crap about trout. Yeah.
There he goes. Yeah, all right. That's it.
Trout are bait fish for bass.
Hold on a second. That brings me to this question. How the hell did you get the name Powerbait Paul if you didn't fish for trout using Powerbait?
I know the answer to this, but I'll
Or is it Powerbait based off of all those rubber worms they make?
Mm-hmm. The Berkeley Powerbait Power Worm, the soft plastics. Because when I first, my buddy Robert, he actually saw all the dude. I've caught more bass on Berkeley Powerbait worms than any other lure.
Are you
Texas
talking about
rig,
the 6-inch ones?
fishing, the 7-inch, the Berkeley
The
Power Worm
7-inch?
7-inch.
What color?
I've caught more.
Motor oil?
Red shad, black and red. That's why I had my PBP hat for black and red to represent the red shad color. But he saw all those big bass I catch on those things and just started calling me Powerbait Paul out of the blue. And I'm like, it's catchy. I like it. I'll stick with
it. It is catchy. It is catchy. But for some reason, when I hear it, I guess because we have so much, like when you hear Powerbait, you think the dough that comes in the container and you're going for trout fishing. So I always thought, I hear Powerbait Paul, I'm like, oh, that guy must love to fish for trout with Powerbait dough. And
nope. No, I do not.
Do you ever take long road trips? Like, do you say, I'm going to go up to North Jersey and chase some hybrids or some walleye? Do you do any of that stuff?
If I go with a buddy, I might. Like, I've been up to Merrill Creek Reservoir with Brian the Carpenter, and actually caught my first lake trout out of there, ripping a blade bait 30 feet deep. That lake trout was pretty cool. It was a small one. It was only like 19 or 20 inches, but it was cool getting to catch my first lake trout. They're pretty cool fish.
Did you ever fish with Joel, with Jersey Joel?
I have not. I have not actually even met him yet.
Yeah, I haven't either, but I want to.
Jersey Joel is North Jersey, way up North Jersey.
Way up, yeah. I thought I saw them two fishing together once, but he fishes with a bunch of people. So
let me ask you
with what's up?
Sorry, go ahead. You can finish.
Yeah, I fish with one of my other buddies. I fish with a lot is Tommy Wyatt. Dude, Thomas Wyatt. Thomas Wyatt. Dude, Tommy is a smallmouth hammer. You know, he's actually got a cabin up in Pennsylvania, and we just go up there. We just spend the weekend, you know, just hammer smallmouth bass on the Susquehanna River. Dude is awesome. You know, he's one of my main fishing buddies.
Yeah, he is cool dude. He goes on a trip every year to like Thousand Islands too, for smallmouth, doesn't he? Or
yes, yeah, he's been to he's caught 5-pounders out of St. Lawrence. I haven't been to the St. Lawrence yet, but I'd like to. But he's caught some big ones out of there.
Yeah, I haven't fished that fishery yet either. It's definitely on my list of things to do. What I wanted to ask you, I just thought this popped in my head, and because you and I have both, I don't know how old you are or anything, but we've both been fishing a similar amount of time from a starting point, because you said you started 2000. Would you say
2007?
2007. So I'm curious. I started out bass fishing because I started as an adult, and I can remember the very first time I went to Walmart, and I'm in the fishing aisle, and I want to buy a pack of lures. And I can remember this very specific type of, I might even still have some left in the bag buried somewhere. And I can remember the exact bait. And I'm just curious if you remember, did you start off with the Powerbait worms, and like, can you picture that exact color and package of the worm you used?
Yeah,
like
I can.
First lure.
Oh yeah. The very first, I remember the very first bag of Berkeley Power Worms I ever started using was the Tequila Sunrise. Good color. But the very first lure I ever caught a bass on, and I'm going to talk about the name of this lake because it's a famous lake. It's everybody and their mother fishes it. It's
we're in North Jersey.
Yeah, I know, but other people might know it. But it's South Vineland Park. It's actually another trout stock lake. But I was fishing South Vineland Park with my dad back in like 07, 08. And the very first lure I ever caught a bass on was a Zoom lizard.
Oh, mine was a top water original floating Rapala, and that was probably, oh my God, I won't even admit on this show how long ago that was. But how old are you, Paul?
28.
Oh, you're that young. Wow, you're 10 years younger than me. Oh God, and you're 30 years younger than Chris.
Yeah. You don't even have any gray. How do you keep your beard so red? There's no gray.
Is it true? The rumor's true. The female angler on Facebook, Nikki Tightlines, that everyone seems to be interested in, We hear you turned her down. Is that true? Like that just adds to your swagger even more.
No, I didn't turn her down. It's just I don't know. She one day she asked if I wanted to go fishing. I said I already had plans to go fishing with a buddy of mine, which was true. I'm not going to turn down my buddy to go fishing with some woman that I've never met yet. But I'm willing to go fishing with her one day.
So you basically just ghosted her. No problem. Ghosted her and just went fishing.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, all right. Basically,
how do you know?
Bros before hoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But how do you know that she wouldn't have wanted to come fishing with both of you at the same time?
I don't know. I don't know. I just know I had plans. I don't know.
Yeah, and you probably don't want to give up your spots to her anyway.
Yeah,
she'll be there every day.
Dude, it's like the amount of messages I get on Facebook requesting random people I don't even know asking me for all my good crappie spots. It's like the other day, some dude asked me, "Where are you catching all these crappie? I want my girlfriend to get into some good crappie one day, and I see you catch a lot of crappie." That guy, I'm ghosting that guy. Dude, I don't even have a girlfriend. Why would I want some random dude bringing his girlfriend to my spot catching my crappie when I even have one to share that with? Get out of here.
I maybe make a deal with the guy. Say, hey, look, I don't have a girlfriend.
Maybe you slip his note.
Crappies.
Slip a note to the girlfriend and be like, listen, you want to catch some crappie? Here's my phone number. That's it. Done.
Dude, if you could steal some guy's girlfriend from fishing information, that's
the ultimate.
Yeah, that's top of the line right there.
Yeah, that would be, wouldn't it?
So I guess it's a stupid question for me to even bother asking, but what is your favorite freshwater fish to pursue? Is it a largemouth bass, obviously? Do you saltwater fish at all? You cranberry people or no?
I've been
Have you ever seen the ocean?
Brackish water? Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you just call him cranberry people?
Cranberry.
He mumbled under his breath. He said, "Do you?"
Oh yeah,
cranberry
that's
people.
Joe always mumbles under his breath.
That's how we have a show fan right there. That's how he knows that.
I completely did not say anything, Paul. Disregard it.
Okay, so what else? Joe, I shall disregard it. He mumbles into the microphone.
What about a day you wake up now? So you don't saltwater fish at all?
Not really.
Same as Nikki.
That's the same exact response he gave Nikki Tightlines.
Yeah, same thing. So he ain't interested. She's out. And so is the ocean. You wake up now, you don't really feel like going bass fishing. You're in the mood for something else. Is snakeheads your next option?
Oh yeah, snakeheads are fun. I have a hard time
trying.
Can you take me
and Chris snakehead fishing?
As soon as I figure them out, yeah, I will. But once I figure out a good spot where they're actually an adequate amount of them and they're consistently biting, basically, I've only caught 3 snakeheads my whole life. I've caught a 4-pounder, a 3-pounder, and one that was just shy of 8 pounds. It's 28 inches long.
Nice. I don't get this though, because, and I'm sorry to stop you, but I always get like this. Oh, South Jersey, the snakeheads are snakeheads everywhere. You can fish from. Every time I talk to these really good anglers from South Jersey, like, you're not catching. You caught 3. You're like, it can't be that good. How good's the fishing for these things?
Well, I've never been to, let's say, the Kennedy spot. I've crappie fished with them, and they've offered to take me to their snakehead spot, but I just never got around to it. But basically, all 3 snakeheads I've caught were actually surprise catches because they came out of a brackish river system that I've been fishing since I first started fishing. And every single one I caught, I thought it was a little striper, a schoolie striper, until I realized it was a snakehead.
So you've never actually gone out to specifically target snakeheads?
No.
You're still fit. That's something you're going to take on now, though?
Eventually, yeah, I'll get around to it, yeah.
Well, it's kind of like, I don't get why some guys... All right, so you got the guys that despise these things. They hear the stories about how they're going to eat everything, they're going to take over the lake, and then they just they just ride with that, and they despise them. They want to kill them all. They don't want to accept the fact that they're established and you could kill every single one you catch and you're still not going to get rid of them. They won't accept it. But beyond that, they still just hate them. They refuse to accept them as a game fish. Even the guys down south that don't have that many options.
Oh, they're definitely a game fish, but they're also good eating. You know, they are definitely the kind of fish you can take home to eat.
Yeah, that doesn't affect it not being a game fish. I mean, that adds to it.
Oh, yeah, it's like yeah. Oh,
I actually, Paul, you do play skillful angler or you don't?
I've caught many fish that could qualify. I just never got around to doing.
You don't enter them?
I've never applied. No,
you
like
should.
that 7 pound. I know I should. Like that 7 pound, 11 ounce largemouth. That could definitely take skillful angler of the year.
Yeah, and you'd have a certificate from that day with the date and the lake and the fish, and that's it. It goes in your out.
But here's the thing. I don't always, just like you guys don't like to weigh fish, I don't always measure my fish. So, I mean, some fish I do. If I catch a big, long pickerel, usually pickerel are the ones I'll measure. But bass, I prefer to check the weight. Yeah. But do you have, in order to enter for a skillful angler, do you have to have a picture of the fish with the length, or can you just that's what I thought. That's why I never do it.
If you want to enter it by weight, you have to kill the fish.
Yeah.
What?
I wouldn't
seriously?
Nah. Well,
if you want to enter the fish by the weight, you have to bring it.
Can't you just enter like a scale pick or a scale video? Because I do have some scale picks.
And I have to be certified.
You don't necessarily have to kill it. If you had some way to keep it alive, to bring it to an official weigh station, and then they'd have to sign off on it.
No,
no one does. Yeah, really. There's like one or two entries
that's too much of a hassle.
Weight category. No. Everyone does catch and release.
The easiest way to do it.
There's no way I'm putting a 7 or 8 pound largemouth bass in a bucket and driving over to a local area with a certified scale. Screw that. That fish needs to live. You know what I mean? It's already put under a lot of pressure. Just get my pictures, get my bragging rights, get her back in the water to live another day to maybe catch next year or somebody else. You know, that's how I look at it. That's why I don't enter
for sure. No, and the easiest way.
If it's a state record contender, then yes, I understand possibly keeping it, because if it's a state record class fish, you know what I mean? Then you kind of have to.
Well, I had actually sent an email to NJ Skillful Angler asking why the snakehead and flathead weren't a skillful angler.
Dude, they're still telling everyone to kill everyone.
I know. And that was the reply that I got back, was because in the catch and release category, you have to release the fish, and those two fish you're not allowed to release. Therefore, there cannot be a catch and release category for them, was the answer I got. And that does make sense.
But I mean, here, let me tell you a real quick, cool story, Paul. So, myself and Luke headed down to South Jersey a couple of years ago because we wanted to catch snakeheads. We head to this one spot that one of my buddies gave me a tip about, and we're fishing. Long story short, the fishing was pretty good for snakeheads, considering we had never really done it before. We missed a couple. We hooked a couple. It was a nice day. We each landed a couple. Nothing huge, but it was a nice day. When we were leaving, we're putting the stuff, our kayaks, back in the truck and stuff, putting our fishing stuff away. A conservation officer rolls up on us. And at first, I'm just like, whatever, I got my license in my pocket. And then I'm like, oh, shit, he's going to ask us what we were fishing for. I'm like, do we lie and just say largemouth? And I ended up, because I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, oh, he's going to ask me if I was fishing for snakeheads, and then he's going to be like, where are they? Did you had to kill them? He's going to start giving me a hard time. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stand my ground on this, and I'm just going to say it. So he comes up, he asks for our fishing licenses. We get him. He's like, how'd you guys do? We're like, yeah, we did pretty good. What were you guys fishing for? I'm like, oh, here we go. I'm like, yeah, we're fishing for snakeheads. We're from North Jersey. Like we wanted to come see what's up with them. And he's like, did you release them? And I'm like, oh, God. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm like, yeah, we released them all. I'm like, I'm not, like, we didn't want to eat them, and we had nothing that we could, I just said, I'm like, well, yeah, we released them. And you know what he says? He goes, oh, you know what? He's like, good. He's like, we don't have too many fish down. We only have bass and some panfish down. He's like, it's an awesome fishery. He's like, that was the right thing to do. He's like, they're pretty cool, right? And I was like, I was surprised by it because I was like, I thought for sure this guy was gonna like hassle us about it, and I thought it was pretty cool that he was kind of on board with it, and he's exactly right. Like it just adds to the sport of fishing. Like from what I was saying before, the more people we get into fishing, the more people we keep in fishing, the more and they pass it on to other people, and especially younger people. Like, why not just accept it as it's an awesome game fish, and you don't have a lot of options.
We need more options. We need more species down here, more so than you guys do.
Well, I don't think you guys have the places to put them. You don't have the reservoirs. You don't have the deep lakes. You don't have. I mean, I think if you had the lakes, they would put the fish there, but the lakes just aren't.
I can think of a few. I can think of a few lakes.
Are you saying that do you think you guys have lakes that a fish like walleye or
trout?
pike?
Not so much lake trout, because the lake trout need to be in those really deep waters, but like walleye, maybe some more smallmouth. Yeah, I mean, heck, freaking northern pike. They're like a big pickerel. Yeah, I can think of a few places they could be.
What do you have something like 40 feet deep down there?
Actually, South Vineland Park is 50 feet deep. It's actually a blue hole. And
Really?
Again, it's a trout stock lake. So, you could probably fit some bigger predators in there.
And do you guys have a muskie? You don't have to name it, but is there a place to muskie fish all the way down there?
He already named it.
The only two places is Cooper River and DOD.
And those are both true strains. No tigers.
Tigers.
Oh, tigers.
Tigers. So.
Well, it would be really cool for you to come up here one day and come fish with us on maybe Lake Pacon or something. That'd be awesome.
Let's talk about this for a second, though. He's kind of got a point. I mean, we're up in North Jersey. We don't actually. It's hard for us to care, but I'm trying to put myself in his shoes. I mean, what about hybrid stripers? They got hybrid stripers down in Florida and Alabama. There's no way hybrid stripers couldn't.
Exactly.
Do you have any bigger lakes that have? What about the forage?
Union Lake. Union Lake's the biggest lake in South Jersey. It's the only smallmouth lake in South Jersey. It's even got stripers. I know guys that have pulled 40-inch stripers out of the lake. Why is there no hybrid stripers in there as well?
I mean, has anyone ever kind of gotten
they stock? I think Manasquan Reservoir is like the southernmost one that they load with hybrids, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that real? Is that far?
Even that's a bit of a hike for me.
I've never fished that one, Chris. Have you? Manasquan Reservoir?
I have not. I've heard that there's a lot of rules, like you got to take your prop off, and
what?
I don't know. Apparently, they make it a little bit.
Well, then that fishing pressure must be low if it's a pain in the ass.
I think it probably is. Yeah.
All right. Well, Paul, you're invited anytime in May or June. This is the 2 months to come. You can come night fishing with me and Chris, and we'll make a video for walleye and stripers. I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day, for coming on the NJ Multi-Species podcast.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
And like Jerry Zagorski always says, if you can't fish, why not just talk about it?
Or just take up golf and get out of our real fisherman's way.
That's true.
Oh,
is that a shot at me?
Oh yeah.
No, that's a shot at anybody who's a fair weather fisherman and can't catch diddly squat. You're taking up space on the bank. Get out of my way.
I'm only golfing because I'm checking out those ponds on the golf course, right? It's all front anyway.
I didn't know you were a golfer, so I don't know. If you take offense to that, not my problem.
I made fun of all my friends for golfing my whole life, so I can't say anything.
There you go.
Hey man, Paul, that's why we put suffer for the fish on the back of our gear, man. Like we're out there willing to suffer through whatever gets thrown at us.
Man, the day I caught my Yeah, the day I caught my personal best largemouth, that 7-11, dude, it was cold. It was windy. I caught that big girl like a half hour before it started to rain. It's
He can't
you got to
stop
get
thinking
out
about
there.
that fish.
Yeah, you got to get out.
It's relapsing in his brain over it just
Yeah,
replays all of
I
a
mean,
sudden.
dude, it's a 7-11 in South Jersey. That fish just fried my mind.
You just gave me horrible deja vu because this just happened on the podcast 45 minutes ago. The same thing.
Yeah,
Didn't it? He loves it.
It's his favorite. Is it safe
It
to
is.
say that's your
You could
favorite
tell
fish you've ever caught?
if you
that
go
is my favorite
follow
fish I've ever
Powerbait
caught.
Paul and find the picture of him with his arm up next to the
Just like-
road, you could tell his face is about to explode from happiness. It's just, yeah. I mean, that's going to be tough to top too, man. I mean, now you're pretty much looking for an 8-pound fish, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm sure there's one somewhere down there
So
along those ponds.
Oh yeah, let's just say when I post another something on Facebook or Instagram saying I just caught an UPB largemouth, oh, you better get ready because that thing is going to be humongous.
Awesome. Well, good luck on that, and we hope that happens. Thank you so much for coming on. Like I said, come up here.
Thanks
and
for having me, guys.
Anytime you want. Paul, take it easy.
You too.
Take care, Paul.
All right, so Powerbait Paul is awesome. That it would be cool to go fishing with him and make some content.
You can't beat that enthusiasm, and like I said before,
maybe Cron can. I mean, the Cron video of him reeling in the carp, I've never seen anything like. His face is glowing, the way my son's face glows when he hears the ice cream truck.
Yeah, dude, he looked like he was a kid on Christmas morning.
Euphoria, like his mind has left Earth and he's in heaven. It's crazy. That video is nuts.
And dude, I you know what? I'm trying to think of. Do you have any video of me fighting a big fish? My face don't look like that. My face looks like
you look miserable.
Like no, not miserable. It look like concentration, like pure like focused concentration. Like I'm not laughing and smiling. I mean, I am loving it, but I'm thinking about all the ways this fish can like break my line or like get off in some way, and I'm just concentrating on it. I'm definitely not laughing and like giggling and shit.
You know what it could be too, and I mean sometimes it might be like maybe Kronk, like he went there once and he caught that monstrous fish. Max and Katie Lynn have been like fishing for a skillful angler carp, like targeting it for a while and can't get one. Like Kronk catches one on a walleye lure in the middle of the night. I mean, how could you not be happy? But also, you know, Kronk wasn't there the 25 times that we went and caught nothing when we were trying to figure out how to do that. So yeah, when you kind of just walk up to it and just boom, here you go. This is where you fish. Here's what to use. Boom. Yeah, he's always happy. I don't know what else to say. Plus, he's always with Eddie Mackin. He fished with Eddie Mackin just last night again. He took a friend out. They pounded fish all night. Kronk had 3 hybrids, 3 walleye. His friend landed a bunch of fish. So, yeah, Kronk's been on fire.
And to my knowledge, and you could correct me if you know, but I don't think he had really ever, or at least not that often, fished Lake Hopatcong before he started going with Mackin's Ripping Lips.
He was, I took him to Hopatcong and I showed him the night bite.
Yeah, well, he didn't learn anything from you. My point is,
I'm saying he wanted to, like, Kronk has a lot of fishing time and I don't, and he started to he wanted to go to Lake Hopatcong all the time. So he starts texting me like, hey, you want to go tonight? Hey, you want to go tonight? And I was like, I can't go, Kronk, like maybe once a week, dude. So he eventually hooked up with Eddie. And now if, you know, I'm not available or one of his buddies who have a boat is available, he calls Eddie. So he's with Eddie a lot. And he's learned a lot. Almost to the point now I could go fishing with Cron and just be like, hey, Cron, what's Eddie doing? Like, Cron will show me what Eddie was doing. I don't gotta go with Eddie anymore. Just use Cron.
He's learned so much fishing with Eddie that now he can maybe teach you something.
He has become probably the most famous person within the NJMSP universe. He is loved by everyone, Cron. He's like, all his videos do fabulous. He's just amazing.
But Max what's funny is he's not even on Max the social media.
Nothing, no. He exists nowhere except the YouTube channel. He's watching this right now, guaranteed. Hi, Cron. Right. Max loves him. He thinks Kronk is like his big pet, which he's not. Like, Max is not stealing my Kronk from me. It's not happening. So, yeah. Other than that, well, who's the guest for next week?
Next week, we are doing a carp episode with our buddy Mark Madosky. He's coming back.
Do I have to be here for this? Because, number one, I don't care about carp fishing, and number two, I don't want to see Madosky.
Why?
Why? Why would you?
As long as he's not offering to take me on some weird-ass trip where
he will. Oh, the episode's going to end by us going somewhere.
Yeah, but we could carp fish locally. I'll fish with him locally. I'm just never taking a road trip with him ever again.
Dude, we used to go on his boat and kill stripers. Like, we would just murder stripers off his boat. It was so fun. We won't even do it. Like, that boat's just, like, locked in for catfish or muskie, and that's it. I got to deal with him next week. All right, so next week we have Mark Madosky on carp fishing. I know a lot of people do love carp fishing. It is very, very popular.
Good. And a lot of people, like, again, despise it for, like, what reason I don't.
Do people despise
really
it?
No.
Who despises
carp? Not the carp fishing. They despise carp. They want to eradicate them. They don't think they're a game fish. Didn't you see that argument?
Listen, they do dirty the water. They do turn the lake water brown. I mean... And they kind of like suck. I mean, when you hook one, like if I'm trolling Spruce Run and like a planer board goes down and it's a carp, I'm disgusted. Like, what, are you serious?
How often does that happen?
I don't even want to talk about it because you're not going to believe me.
I mean, look,
they eat trolled herring. I don't know why. I can't.
I've had catfish do that too. I've had catfish eat trolled flies.
Catfish are expected to do that though. Seeing carp eat my trolled herring, and the Spruce Run seems to be the only lake this happens on. And I drag live bait on a lot of lakes.
I get the whole thing where like you're fishing for something else, a specific target, and you hook into a carp.
Top water night fishing for walleye, and you get a huge explosion, and boom, it's a largemouth bass. Your heart's broken right away.
I get that whole aspect of it, where like, but they fight like motherfuckers, and I think they look cool as hell, and they come in a lot of varieties. I mean, I just don't see. I don't. It's not like. They don't have teeth. They're not cutting your expensive lures off unless you break them because you don't know how to fight a fish. I mean, I just don't get it. And the whole argument about, you saw the whole argument about, they're not a game fish. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, that's a whole episode in itself.
Well, that'll be part of the next episode then.
Okay, yeah, we could bring that into the next episode. All right, we're going to go because we have to go black fishing with the fishmonger. If you're watching this, like Chris said, it already happened. I hope it was good. I'm talking to myself in the past right now. Joe, I hope that you did good. And Chris, I hope you did good also.
I either did good or I no longer exist. I'm out there.
I am talking to you guys from the future. And I'm telling you on Friday that I hope your trip was great Tuesday.
I have kind of this thing where I have like this reverse jinx theory. So I'm going to say right now we did terrible. It was awful.
Yeah, it sucked.
And it sucked balls. And I can't believe how bad it was.
And I won the pool. I caught the biggest fish and won the pool. All right. I won the whole pool.
All right. Are we done now?
Yeah, we're done. We'll be back next week, hopefully in a good mood. We'll let you know. See you next week.
Keep suffering.
Bobbers.